From August 25th, 1978, the Old Kingdom Hall in Charlotte Street, Carlisle, served the brothers well after it was purchased for just £7,000, having been empty for around 10 years prior to that. On May 10, 1999, a feasibility study was started for the possible sale of the hall, and a buyer was found before the end of that year. The main reasons for selling this grand old hall were the very steep stone steps at each entrance and the responsibility of maintaining such an old building. Building sites were sought and checked out with the local planning department at an early stage. A number of discussions were held with the planning department, and as they checked their own records for spare land, we toured the city looking thoroughly for other possible sites. Around 100 different sites were found in the course of a year, some of them on the outskirts, others in the city centre. The two congregations were kept up to date with progress by regular brochures which illustrated and described some of the better sites. Quite out of the blue came an offer from a house builder for us to buy up to 16 house plots at just £10,000 each. This site already had planning permission for houses, and the services, road and pavements would be completed for us. We purchased 6 plots and arranged for additional temporary car parking in a 200-acre paddock right next door. Here we would be able to park hundreds of cars while the brothers were working on the hall. During May and June the site was levelled, which required 130 lorry loads, moving 1,400 tonnes of material off the site and 1,100 tonnes of new material onto the site. Let's hear from Brother David Hesketh, local project coordinator, about the early works on site.
David, what's the significance of what we're looking at here today?
Well, I suppose in most of our eyes it's the kind of beginning of everything. Although of course work's been going on for nearly 3 years now, but this is the day when we're setting foot on site, we're setting the levels, and tomorrow morning a contractor will come in with his heavy plant machinery and start to level the site. So in a week's time it'll not look anything like it does today. Well, this is the final day of the first weekend where the RBC and local volunteers are working on site. Over the past week or 10 days there's been 80-odd wagon loads of the muck has been removed and the stone has been brought in and the site's been prepared, as you can see. And this weekend we've got teams of hard-working brothers and sisters putting in the curbs, marking out the site. It's been an excellent response, I can tell you that. The construction overseer was just saying to me that it's the best curbing effort that they've ever been involved in. The support has been excellent.
Right, we're just busy laying a few curbs here, 3-inch down, digging some trenches, looking forward to lunch. We're going to raid the butty cabin shortly, see if there's any sandwiches left. So we're working very hard to work these sandwiches off this afternoon.
Excellent. So what do you think of it so far, girls? Or should I say sisters?
It's great. Very enjoyable. Very good. Food's excellent.
Do you think you can keep up with the brothers at this work, right?
Oh,
Without a
yeah,
doubt.
definitely.
Yes.
We've done what 14 brothers tried to do yesterday for the 3 of us.
The foundations were excavated and filled with concrete. The foundation walls were built and the concrete slab poured and finished smooth, requiring the delivery of 8 large lorry loads of concrete. During the following weeks, while the slab cured and reached full strength, we attended our district convention, after which the time came to start the actual build. This would be done in just 5 days, followed by 3 days the week after. We were now ready for the build. Let's watch the progress made from the first day, Wednesday, August the 21st. The day starts at 8 o'clock with a discussion of the day's text over bacon butties and a cup of tea or coffee. Work is soon underway and the walls are lifted up into position. By 11:30 the wall framework was all in place and plasterboarding was well underway. We spoke to Brother Clive Davies of the insulation team and asked him to explain the vapour check system used on this build.
Vapour check is a plastic sheet really. It's on a long roll, it's 3 metres high and it goes right round the inside of the building in a continuous sheet. It's partly to protect the structure from dampness and to stop dampness penetrating through to the inside of the building. It's a complete seal from the outside world, on top of the insulation, on top of the wall panels and before the plasterboards go on.
Right. So Clive, we've talked about the insulation going up and then the vapour check going on top of that and then finally the plasterboard?
That's right, that's the final thing, and then the plasterers come in and the decorators and all our work's hidden and never seen again.
By the end of the first day, the timber structural frame, the first layer of plasterboard and the floor tiling are all complete. The internal wall frames are erected and the vapour seal is in place around the external walls. Preparation for day 2 is underway, with bricks being stacked into small piles all around the building, ready for the bricklayers to start work. This is one of the secrets of success, having the materials to hand. None of the bricklayers have to mix their own mortar or carry their own bricks. It will all be done by volunteer labour. Also on the first day, the local BBC Radio Cumbria set up a 2-hour live broadcast from the building site from 7 till 9 a.m. They conducted several interviews and held a phone-in competition based on our building work. No wonder we have a lot of people mention our build when we call on them in the field ministry. Workers of all shapes and sizes arrive for work during the day. This little chap was not old enough, of course, but keen just the same. And just look at this scaffolding. A professional scaffolder who lives opposite the hall said he'd never seen anything as good as this. Thursday, day 2, sees the start of the bricklaying. The team includes several sisters as well as volunteer brothers who work under the direction of the professional regional workers. The standard is very high and was much admired by the local builders working on neighbouring plots. Brother Peter Williamson of the bricklaying team told us how their work was scheduled.
Set targets and spray painted a line on the inside of the hall for the target for the bricklayers. You know, that's what they knew, that's what they had to get up to each day. That we did a Wednesday target, which was when we started, and a Thursday target, Friday and so on. And yeah, they got there.
They met all their targets?
Met all the targets.
The main event of the second day is the lifting of roof trusses into place. This is done by lifting 4 trusses together, already properly spaced, which makes the task quicker and much safer than lifting them individually. Work on the electrical installations and sound system also begins on the second day. Work continues on or even ahead of schedule on Friday, with the brickwork now up to window height and the window frames going in. Work on the roof continues today. Let's hear from the roof tiling overseer, Brother John Kennedy.
We're encouraged to come up Friday dinner time. Then we start felting and battening, which we use the local brothers if they're careful enough, and they help us to use the felting and battening. So we try to get it covered in on the Friday so that the brothers can work inside, so the project's moving all the time.
And what are these queues for? This is the home of the bacon butty, cooked fresh early in the morning on site. 300 on some mornings. Endless serving of tea, coffee, orange drinks, cakes, fruit, a cooked lunch and a dinner for those who worked late.
How many cups of tea do you think you've served already, Debbie?
Oh, absolutely hundreds. Tea, juice, loads of cake. One of the most important parts of the site.
The main task of the day is to make the building weatherproof, and this means the roof. This time the chain gang passes the tiles, fitted at the rate of around 1 every 2 seconds, some of the time. The entire roof is finished in just 1 day. A lot of work was being done internally today as well, with many teams working in every room with and around each other. Joiners, plasterers, tilers, electricians and plumbers. Meanwhile, up in the roof space, the ventilation and air conditioning system is also being installed. It really is hot in the loft, and the team come out every hour for fresh air. And how does it all work? Let our sister explain.
Well, what we're actually doing is, for the actual extraction, we work upstairs in the rafters, heating and ventilation, and this is the extraction system. We've laid all the pipes out upstairs and everything else and what we have to. Now we have to do is, with the ceiling tiles, actually put the grids in that's going to take the air up and extract it out. So we've got to individually cut the ceiling tiles. We've got to cut plywood to measure as well, to attach to the back of the ceiling tiles, because if we just put the grid in on its own, the weight of it would sag the ceiling tiles. It's only like compressed cardboard, the ceiling tile. So we do all that, then we actually attach flexi piping to this, which goes up through holes that we've already made in the actual ceiling in the loft, and attach it to the pipes up there that we've already put together.
Tell us a little bit about your team.
Well, we have about 15 on the team, of all ages, and most of them are amateurs. They don't do ventilation. We have a lot of sisters that help, and they come from far away as Manchester and Clitheroe, and we have a good time.
That's
we enjoy
nice.
it, and we're like a little family really, and it's nice to see we get together when the build's on, and it's a good atmosphere.
But you've also had some volunteers locally from the Carlisle congregations?
Yeah, every build we like to get volunteers, because it builds the team up, and it means that everybody has a chance to feel they're part of it, and it really gives a good spirit on the whole site, so we enjoy it.
A later start on Sunday, and the BBC are back again with a live broadcast from site, this time for 3 hours. The Sunday breakfast show included several interviews and a live tour of the build.
Derek, you've been doing news service here on the build. This is unique to the Carlisle build. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Yes, this is the first time that we've been really proactive with the news service department. We actually encourage the media to have a full story and real detail on the build.
You mentioned that news service was also trying to get across to the public our joy and unity in action. Do you think we've been able to do that?
Yes, I would say we have, very much so. Already some of the reporters have made good comments on what they can see here by way of brotherhood and joy really in action. And one of the religious reporters said they've been trying to achieve that kind of thing for years and just cannot achieve it. So here it really is in action.
Other departments working today included the suspended ceiling team and the painters and decorators. Sunday afternoon, and a crowd gathers to watch the completion of the brickwork. Brother Jack House is given the task of fitting the final brick.
See ya! Go in! This brick symbolises a new era for the congregation of Carlisle. True worship.
During the week, the painting and decorating team worked on to ensure that the build could continue again ahead of schedule the next weekend.
There was me and Stuart at the beginning, then some lads came up from, one from Southport and one from Burnley, and because no one else was involved in the hall, we could just get through it like a dream, and just everything went perfect. It was beautiful.
The second weekend sees the carpets being fitted. The final joinery work is completed and the finishing touches are made to the decorating and fittings. Also, the final fix is made for the electrical, ventilation and plumbing installations.
We came in quite early on the build and did our first fix, that is putting all the wires in, making all the connections. Then the plasterers came in, plastered all the walls, the tilers came in, tiled the floor and part of the wall area. Then the plumbers came in and sorted their fitting. Then we were able to come back in and do our second fix, put all the lights up, and everything rolled on really well. So we've achieved this, I think, in record time. I think it's the smoothest, best build that we've ever been.
Meanwhile, outside, the site was being cleared and much of the equipment was transported back to the RBC headquarters. The landscaping team was hard at work, block paving the entrance, levelling the car park, and moving topsoil onto the garden areas. Throughout the whole build, the construction departments were well supported by the site services teams, who coordinated the volunteer labour where and when required, and by the cleaning teams, who helped to keep the entire project neat, tidy and safe. Some of the work of the 48 departments involved was not immediately evident, but no less important. Behind the scenes, the accounts, purchasing, news service and photography, rooming, temporary sound, attendance and parking all provided very necessary support.
We've parked and carefully cared for 136 vehicles on Saturday and 107 on Sunday. The security of the brothers' vehicles has been our prime responsibility, and we've been very pleased to be able to handle the situation.
A lot of work, Chris, has gone into organising the accommodation for all the visiting working brothers. When did that begin?
As soon as the build of the hall was notified, then the date was given, then we made a search of all the local accommodation that we could use in Carlisle, both east and west congregations.
Other congregations around Carlisle have also put people up. Which congregations?
Yes, Weekton, Penrith and Annan congregations. We've invited them all to offer accommodation, and thankfully we've been able to use many of the accommodation in those congregations, so we do appreciate their hospitality in that respect.
And how many have you accommodated?
We're looking at 180 to 200 individuals staying within these congregations, our own congregation, local congregations.
Perhaps the largest of these departments was the food service. Food preparation took place at various homes throughout Carlisle, preparing sandwiches, hot meals, including vegetarian, and desserts.
Sean, you've just been telling us some of the techniques that you've used for cooking the food. You've been quite impressed with some of the ways.
Yeah, the way the sisters have adapted, the local ones have adapted really well, and particularly with the rice, the way they make sure the rice doesn't catch at the bottom. It's been, just sisters who know what they're doing in the kitchen, really, and that's what they've done, and it's turned out well. Everything seems to be cooking well.
We've had some reports of this being the best food on any quick
Yes,
build
that's
for a
true.
long
Yeah.
time.
In fact, I rang up last week because I couldn't come last week, and I rang up and they said it's been one of the best food always. So that's
And
nice to hear.
you've just told us that you might take some of these ideas
to
on
Preston
to
when we get to
Preston.
Preston. Yeah, I think we will. Yeah.
And what was on the menu?
Today we've got sweet and sour turkey with rice. Yesterday we had chicken pie and vegetables. We've got different forms of desserts. Today we've got meringue nests with strawberries and cream, and other times we've got trifle. So we're really trying to give the brothers and sisters a varied diet.
Phil, you've been in charge of volunteers, local volunteers, on this build. How's it gone?
We've had a tremendous response from the local congregations, including those in Annan and Penrith and Weekton, and the brothers have worked really hard. Sometimes I've had a difficulty trying to keep them all busy, but that's just part of the challenge. But from the feedback that I've had, certainly they have enjoyed it, and certainly just association is good. The work has been hard, and it may not seem very attractive, shifting piles of sand and gravel and other things like that, but the brothers have got stuck in, they've done the job and really enjoyed working together.
We asked the RBC site overseer, Brother Graham Cockshott, about his responsibilities for the Kingdom Hall build.
Tell us about the 2-hour training course, the safety training course.
Again, as part of our responsibility, we have to make sure that everyone that takes part in the build has some basic health and safety training. We consider that we can cover that in a 2-hour course which covers all aspects: basic lifting, working at heights, dealing with electricity and so on. But everyone who puts a foot on this site has to have undergone that basic training.
Now, don't use the term quick build anymore. That's a surprise. Tell us about that.
Now, we're trying to eliminate that from our vocabulary because...
Why is that?
Well, primarily the emphasis is on safety rather than speed. So we call it a society-designed Kingdom Hall. We still build them quickly compared with what happens normally on a building site, but we don't use the word quick build. The emphasis is on safety rather than speed.
We asked various overseers what they thought of the response of the local brothers.
Yes, we've had excellent support from the local brothers and sisters, and they've all joined in. It's been a very happy atmosphere. Really pleased with that.
It's been absolutely excellent. Like every build we've done, the brothers and sisters have been tremendous. Beautiful.
It was good to have so many to choose from that we could throw them at a task and the task would just disappear very quickly.
Actually, the brothers are very helpful. They're mindful of the fact that they need to be safe, and makes my job a lot easier. So it's been a very good site, I would say.
And I have to say too that the sisters that are involved, sadly, one sister's worth 3 brothers on a lot of occasions because they work ever so hard.
But as you can appreciate, all the help is down to the generosity and the hard work of the brothers.
It's not just us that's worked hard anyway, everyone's mucked in and worked hard, and it's just come together beautifully.
The ultimate moment is when you look up and you see the brothers and sisters working so hard. It's like being in the new world, and that's what it's a foreshadow of a new system, isn't it? When we look at all the brothers and sisters working, it's absolutely tremendous. The spirit within the build, it's marvellous.
During the building of our new Kingdom Hall, enthusiasm, zeal and a positive spirit contributed to the success of the project. That same spirit continues as we seek to bring many more persons to a knowledge of the truth and encourage them to meet with us at the Kingdom Hall. Such zeal is a manifest expression of appreciation that results in marked increases in meeting attendance and in the overall growth of the congregation. As we continue to expand our ministry, exerting ourselves vigorously in the work at hand, Jehovah's blessing will continue with us. We do not know what growth and increase await us in the future, but we need to be ready to welcome any future influx of worshippers. That requires preparation on our part now. Thus, we pray for Jehovah's continued blessing and direction. In building for the future, may we all be workers with Jehovah, physically, materially, and spiritually. He will certainly bless us as we take proper care of those hastening into his kingdom organization during the final part of these last days. The congregations of Carlisle would like to express their appreciation and thanks to all those who volunteered their time, skills and resources in working so hard on the building of the new Kingdom Hall. Truly it is a blessing from Jehovah to see how his witnesses can work so well together in unity to provide a great shout of praise to his name. As the psalmist David said, one thing I have asked from Jehovah. It is what I shall look for, that I may dwell in the house of Jehovah all the days of my life, to behold the pleasantness of Jehovah, and to look with appreciation upon his temple.